Hey, JJK fans! Welcome back to our channel. Today, we're diving deep into JJK Chapter 262. Get ready for an intense breakdown of the unified Gojo versus Sukuna domain clash. But first, we have some updates and unfortunate news to share. Let's start with the bad news. This chapter consists of only 7 pages, which is quite unusual. Typically, weekly manga chapters contain at least 15 to 20 pages. And if that wasn't enough, we have more disappointing news towards the end of the video, so stay tuned. Now, let's jump into the chapter, which kicks off with the highly anticipated domain clash between unified Gojo and Sukuna. This clash mirrors the domain battle between the original Gojo and Sukuna from their third round. As the battle begins, Yuta opens his domain, Infinity Void, and shrinks his domain barrier to a marble size. So, why did Yuta shrink his domain barrier right after expansion? He did this because he knew he couldn't keep up with Sukuna in a domain clash. Yuta had already observed that Gojo was consistently losing domain battles to Sukuna. At some point, Gojo realized that shrinking the barrier of his domain would allow his Infinity Void to compete with Sukuna's Malevolent Shrine for about 3 minutes. Kusakabe mentioned that altering domain parameters like creation time and volume isn't easy. This gives us a glimpse into Yuta's advanced skills. Shrinking the domain barrier ensures that 90% of curse energy will hit the opponent, as confirmed by Yuta during Gojo's battle with Sukuna in Chapter 228. Now, how will Yuta's Infinity Void survive Sukuna's Malevolent Shrine for 3 minutes? In the previous battle, Gojo shrank his domain, but Sukuna still managed to break it. However, Sukuna's domain also broke down shortly after. During this clash, Gojo severely damaged Sukuna, making it difficult for Sukuna to maintain his domain. All the sorcerers watching knew about this 3-minute tactic. Yuta assesses Sukuna's damage and fatigue, believing he can withstand Sukuna's domain and possibly defeat him within 3 minutes. Sukuna, aware of this tactic, shrinks his domain barrier to counter Yuta's effects. This tactic was also used by Sukuna in his battle with Gojo. A massive reveal is that before Gojo fought Sukuna, Yuta swapped souls with Gojo to train and improve his barrier techniques. This training is evident in Yuta's ability to open and shrink his domain barriers quickly. Remember Mei's little brother, Yui Yui? He facilitated the soul swapping. Despite Gojo's efforts, he couldn't break Sukuna's domain but damaged him enough to make it difficult for Sukuna to maintain domain. Yuta aims to exploit this scenario, hoping to defeat Sukuna within 3 minutes. But Sukuna, expecting this tactic, plans to break Yuta's domain and expand his own to kill everyone else. In the domain clash, Yuta tries to pull Sukuna using blue, but Sukuna reduces the distance, grabs Yuta, and lands a powerful punch. Yuta, unprepared for hand-to-hand combat, struggles while Sukuna uses tactics from his previous fight with Gojo. Sukuna knew to use and go for hand-to-hand combat from his previous fight with Gojo, in domain where Gojo was landing punch after punch to Sukuna irrespective of disadvantage within domain, like using reverse curse techniques, tolerating Sukuna attacks, and swift movements for dodging. These skills get Gojo praised by Sukuna, so he used this tactic from previous battle with Gojo. Sukuna moves around and lands punches, unaffected by Yuta's domain. This makes Yuta wonder why is his domain not affecting Sukuna, when Sukuna is moving around and land punch after punch to him. Nothing is happening to Sukuna, and this is because Sukuna is doing what he did in battle against Gojo. Look, whenever a sorcerer used domain expansion, he can use only one curse technique, which is the one that is of the domain. But here we are seeing the king of curses in action, so no normal rules are going to be applied on Sukuna. This is because Sukuna uses domain amplification within domain expansion, a technique that nullifies curse techniques. He used this against Gojo and now against Yuta. Sukuna enjoys the battle, knowing other sorcerers can't see inside the domain, and Yuta can't share information with them. On the last page, we see a fully manifested Rika grieving over Yuta's lifeless body. The chapter ends with a mysterious, but, from the writer, leaving us on a cliffhanger. Will Yuta survive within Gojo's body? This hinges on Kenjaku's curse technique's activation principle. If it requires constant activation, Yuta might die within 5 minutes as fully manifested Rika last for 5 minutes only. Otherwise, he'll survive unless killed. Now, about the 2-week break. The writer of JJK is not feeling well and needs time to recover. We wish JJ a speedy recovery and hope to see more chapters soon. That's all for today's video. If you enjoyed the breakdown, give us a thumbs up and don't forget to subscribe for more JJK content. Let us know your thoughts on this chapter in the comments below. Until next time,